All right, so today is an exciting day. We actually have just received MPC3 Beta 2, which brings some new features to this update, and it continues to improve on a couple bugs that we had in the first beta version. Now, there is 4 pretty cool upgrades. I'm going to save the best one till last. The best one, if you're a sample-based producer, you're going to want to stick around for this last one because this last update is really cool. It's actually a new feature that we did not have previously, so I'm excited to show you that. But let's get started with the first new features or the first new updates that we just received. Oh, but before I jump into that, this is available to the public as of today, September 26th. Now, with the first update is we are now able to update via Wi-Fi. Also, we have the MPC3 Start User Guide, which is actually pretty helpful because there's so much information in this 3 firmware update. So now you could access User Guide, which is available to download from the MPC3 Beta landing page. Now, for the third update, it's going to make a lot of people happy, but now we have individual sequence track mutes. I know a lot of people were asking about this. Now this is available. As a matter of fact, let's go through and let's show you how you're able to do this individually. If you want to use the track mutes per sequence, very easy. We're just going to go right here where it says mutes, and being right here in your track mute page, you could just select this little gear icon right here. And as you select that, you now have this fourth option, which says track mute state per sequence. Make sure that is selected, close out of this, and now you could use your track mutes per sequence. You go right here to sequence 1, you can bang through. You want to mute this sequence right here, you go back to sequence 1, and you have them individually per sequence. Now, another upgrade, which is going to make a lot of us happy, especially if you're sampling, is we now have stem separation in the version 3.0. We did not have stem separation prior to this in this MPC3. Now, if we go to our sample editor, we jump in right here and we now have stem separation. Now, it does say that they have improved with the algorithm, so it should sound better, and it does improve the audio quality versus what we had in standalone. There was a lot of back and forth with the quality, but it looks like they are enhancing the algorithm. So this stem separation in the MPC 3.0 should sound better. Now, we'll dedicate a video on the sound quality in the next few days, but we now have it in MPC 3.0. Now, I wanted to save this last feature for the last one. This is awesome. Now we have new slice to audio. Let me break this down real quick and show you a quick demonstration. This is really cool, guys. I've mentioned this many times before, and I want to show you how I would use it. When it comes down to time stretching versus warping on the MPC, you already, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of going time stretching versus warping. I don't like the sound of warping in standalone because it just, a lot of artifacting, and I just don't use it. I don't recommend it unless you're using your MPC in controller mode. But now they have this feature called new slice to audio. Let me show you how this would work right here. Right here on my main page, I have a sequence and it's some sample chops. Let's say I want to bring in some drum breaks to the sample. I'm going to go into my menu. Let's go to our browser. Okay, let's say we want to use this drum break, which is at 75 beats per minute. Let's say I want to load this into the sample pool library. Now I'm going to jump into the sample editor. Let's locate that drum break we just brought in. Once we have that selected, the way we're going to use this feature is let's select either a 1 bar or a 2 bar, how many ever bars we want to use. I'm going to select 2 bars from this break right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So I have 2 bars selected. I'm going to discard and just keep those 2 bars selected. I'm going to jump in from trim to chop mode. And on chop, you could either manually chop this break up, or you could use the threshold feature. So it could just select the transients of audio. And this is actually going to be helpful because I want to select all of the transients, the kick, snare, and hi-hat, all of it individually. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. All right, so now that I have all of these shots selected, it's all individual shots. And you can do that very easy with the threshold selection right here. Once I have that, I can hold down Shift, convert, and when we get this pop-up sign, we're gonna scroll through all the way until we see convert to audio track from samples. Once we're right here, I want you to deselect warp enabled, so it doesn't warp your audio. I don't like the way warping sounds, so I wanna take that off. And I want the MPC to put these chops in a new track. And then down here it says, how many bars was the selection? It was 2 bars that I selected. So I wanna make sure I put 2 bars and I'm gonna hit do it. Awesome. So now I go to my main page and I can see that I created a new track with that drum break as audio. Now, this is where it gets really cool on what we can do right here, because now I'm gonna be able to adjust the tempo of my sequence. And as it adjusts the tempo, the groove of my audio of this break that we just chopped up is going to adjust according to the tempo of my sequence. It's not warping the audio, so there is no artifacting, but it is limited. I mean, you could push it a few numbers, and obviously you're gonna start listening to the gaps in between. But I noticed that I can push it enough for me to make decisions of, when I'm trying to decide, am I gonna pitch up or down or slow or speed up the tempo? It's not by drastic numbers. It's probably by 5 or 10 beats per minute. So now, if I go right here to my arranger, I can zoom in and I can see this new audio track that it created. And notice that it threw it right here for 2 bars and it has all my individual chops right here. If I hit play, this drum break was originally at 75 beats per minute, but this sequence is at 81 beats per minute. So if I hit play, there is no artifacting, there's no time stretching, there's no warping. It should play the original audio at 81 beats per minute with no artifacting. Let's go ahead and listen to this. That is so cool. There's no warping. There's no time stretching. Now let's go the opposite. We go down. Well, originally we were at 75 beats per minute. That's where the drum break is at. Let's bring it down to 70 beats per minute. So we're slowing it down 5 beats per minute. Let's see how this sounds. That is awesome. That sounds great. Obviously, the sample chops are slowed down, but if I play this with the beat, it is not giving me already with 5 beats per minute slower with warping already gave me artifacts where I was like, I just cannot use it. This is not time stretching it, because time stretching to me sounds great. I love time stretch, but you have to commit that time stretch number in the sample edit page. So if later on you're like, you know what, I actually don't like that, I want to just go back to the way I was, it's just it gets a little complicated. But right here, you could play with your tempos. If you want to speed up or slow down, you can do it in real time. Let's go down let's go down to 65 beats per minute. So now we're going down 10 beats per minute slower. Let me solo the drums so we can hear just the drums, because I know the chops of my sample melodic chops are gonna start cutting off a bit, but I want to just hear the drums. So obviously you get a limit. You get to the point where you're gonna start hearing those gaps in between each slice. Now, this would be awesome. Now, if you're watching this video, I don't know if you guys are able to, but this right here would allow us to push this even further if we were able to have audio tail length with audio tracks. Because audio tail length just gives you extra seconds at the tail length of every slice. So it just covers up those in between millisecond gaps from each slice. So if we were able to do audio tail length on these chopped up audio pieces, it would just cover up those gaps really, really good. There's no time stretching or warping or anything like that. This is the original audio. If I just zoom in right here, you'll see these are the slices we did in our sample edit page. If you want to speed this up, I mean, speeding it up gives you even more flexibility. I feel like, you know, this was originally at 75 beats per minute. Let's go to 95. So this is going up a few beats per minute. So let's see how this sounds. So this sounds great. Notice that the first downbeat, I just did not give the slice between the kick and there is a hi-hat. I had them together. So it's giving me that weird glitch. But notice that if you have everything at its transient sliced up, it will give you a really smooth transition as you're fluctuating your tempos. It's those little small updates where you have audio tail length. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's so important. Now this slice to new track is so cool and so important for people that sample music. Is these small little things that are probably not talked about as much that for me is a must have when I'm sampling music. So shout out to Akai for rolling these updates out. You know, these are betas right now and there might be some bugs here and there, but it's awesome to see that Akai is pushing updates forward, and it is not updates only for the MPC SX, or I don't know what's the big MPC. That would, you know, be a bummer if it's like, hey, only the E MPCs get these updates. No, like everybody gets these updates. MPC1, MPC Live, the Mark II, the One Plus keys. And also, if you're new to the MPC 3.0 and you're feeling a little lost or overwhelmed, I'll be covering all of these topics in the MPC course that I have for the MPC One Plus and the MPC Live. So if you're a little behind and you're trying to catch up with the MPC workflow, go ahead. I'll leave a link down in the description. You guys can sign up to the MPC course, follow along with the videos. I'll go through and I'll break everything down piece by piece. So if you want to sign up, check out the links down in the description. We have payment plans. You could have access to the course videos today and do payments as you're learning. All right, guys. So thank you so much. I'll catch y'all on our next videos. Peace.